Yeah, Pav was a maintenance day today, and Z was it was a family matter today.
Expect them both tomorrow.
Expect Pav tomorrow. Z, we'll just wait and see.
I saw gets to his first point yesterday. What did you kind of see from him just beyond the production of what he was doing on the ice and the way he was impacting the game?
I thought he was on the attack last night more. I thought he played a good game. You could see flashes in his game of carrying the puck, through the neutral zone, attacking, making some plays, executing some plays, coming into the offensive zone, which was nice to see. I thought that it was one of his better games since he's been here. I thought that he continues to work on his details, wall play, D zone coverage, things like that. But certainly, I thought it was a solid game for him, especially offensively. He seemed to have a lot of jump last night. Like I said, getting inside the scoring zone is still going to be something that he's going to continue to work on. But it was a good game for him last night.
Is it just a matter of something clicking when you see him start to get on the puck and move like that more, or you kind of see that building?
Well, I think you see it start to build in young players game by game. It's the confidence level, right? I think that once players start feeling a little bit more comfortable where they're at, they start to hang on to pucks longer. They have the ability to make some plays, which is something that he's going to have to do, right, in this league. And so I just think it stems from playing, getting a little bit more experience under your belt game by game, and try to grow your game from there. And so, yeah, like I said, it was kind of a game. It was a little bit of a wide open. It wasn't tight checking last night, so certainly that works in some of the players' favors, in their favor. But no, like I said, I think that it's just keep building your game, keep working on the things that are your strengths, so that you can try to have success here.
Well, if he admits that it's going to be a new year next year in September, but the success that they have here, what will they be able to take that into the offseason?
Yeah. Well, I think they can look at a couple of different things. I think they can look at themselves and see how they fared in the league, this year, down the stretch here, areas they need to improve on, areas they can continue to work on coming into training camp next year. I think the biggest thing for both those guys is strength. I think overall strength, they have to get stronger, and they're both young guys, especially Mitten. He's a little bit younger than Fabian, but that's the biggest difference right now. Is just over the summer they're probably going to be able to see, okay, maybe I can play in this league, but I've got to get stronger and so I can be more consistent night in and night out and win puck battles and things like that. But I think there's a few things they can still take and push that into the summer in their training. But it's more of a mindset, just, hey, can I play in this league? Can I be here consistently? Can I be an everyday NHL player,
With Lysol, what's the one area that you would say, okay, please focus on this away from the puck to become a more reliable?
I would say it wouldn't be away from the puck. Fluto would be on the puck. I would say it'd be his wall play, his board play still. That's the one area we're going to continue to work with him on. Just the ability to get pucks out along the wall when you're getting pinched down by defensemen. It's a skill, and it takes a lot of work and it takes some strength. And so I think that's the one area where he can continue to build his game so he can be more reliable in the defensive zone, knowing that he's going to be able to either make a play. You don't have to just chip it out every time because he has the ability to find the center maybe coming out of our D zone or find the net defenseman. So those are areas that if he continues to, like I said, that's the one area, if he continues to build into his game, I think it'll help him a lot.
There's 3 games to go. Will Charlie McAvoy play against you?
He's still, there's no timeline still for Charlie.
Is the fact that there's not a natural timeline seem unlikely then?
Like I said, there's no timeline for Charlie right now.
But Cass-
Same.
With Eunice Corpusalo, what have you seen from him this year? And how do you work with a goalie when you know he's not going to be in here like every other game, just to kind of keep him sharp?
Well, I think Bob does a great job of keeping the goalies ready. I think that when you look at Corpy, he's a professional. He's always ready. Like I've said this before, I think that any time his number's been called upon this year, he's always come in and give us a solid effort. And that's all you can ask of him, and he's done that. So it goes back to his preparation, his workload, his mindset as a pro, and that's the position he's in. And I think, like I said, I think Bob does a good job of keeping the goalies ready. If they're not getting the playing time, maybe that the other guy's getting. And so he's been nothing but a professional here all year.
Geekie hitting the 30-goal plateau there. He's always been a confident guy, it seems, but hitting a plateau like that cause a guy to maybe view himself a little differently in where his niche might be in this league.
Well, I think so, especially where he started the year. I think if you look at the start of the year to where he's finished off right now, he's probably saying to himself, hey, like I've done a good job because I got off to a tough start here. He did not play every game at the beginning of the season, and the ability to bounce back, stay focused, stay prepared, and when his opportunity came to make the most of it says a lot about the player and the individual. So, yeah, I think that he can tell himself, hey, I can produce in this league, given given a pretty good opportunity. I've said this before, he plays with a pretty good hockey player. But having said that, he has finished his chances around the net. He has set up plays. He goes to the net. So he's taken advantage of the opportunity.
Hitting that mark, does that cause you to view yourself any differently and how you might fit in this league and where you might slot?
I mean, a little bit. Yeah, for sure. I think anytime you can reach a milestone like that, it's something that you'll cherish and something that they can't take away from you. So, I think my game's evolved this year, especially. Even since I got to Boston, it's evolved, but taken even more steps this year. And I'm just going to try to keep growing and keep adding to my game and try to be even a more complete player for sure.
Yeah. People say, well, he's playing with Pasternak, so he's in a great spot, but you still have to finish those chances. Do you take pride in that?
Yeah, Dave's a great player, obviously. 100 points, in this league is not something to shake your head at, and to do it 3 times in a row speaks to the kind of player he is. From my point of view, I think, we read off each other pretty well and just try to find spots to get open for him. And I think that's a skill I've grown, over these last couple of months, just trying to learn to play with him and where he likes to be, where I know he likes to put pucks. So I think that's just a skill you got to learn. And I've been fortunate enough to play with him for enough time now to kind of figure those things out, and we'll keep growing together for sure.
At what point do you reflect on your season? Have you started doing that from where you started to where you are now in terms of goal scoring and just your contributions? Or?
In that case, not a ton. I definitely look back on where I started this year, just mentally, how tough the first month or so was, and where I'm at now, just some perspective. It could always be worse. We get to play a game for a living, and it's pretty special to be able to say you do that, and to be able to have success like I did this year is something that I'll always remember. But I've got a lot of other things this year that I've built relationships with everybody in this room that I'll cherish forever, and like I said, just try to remember where everything started, and just keep having fun. It's a game at the end of the day.
The contract's up at the end of the year. Have you thought about contract for next year and beyond? Has that come up at all?
No, I'll let my agent figure that out. I haven't really put much thought into that. I know there was a lot of talk going into the deadline with what was going to happen with me, and I'm just happy to stick around for another month and a half. And if that's as long as I'm here, then that's how it's going to be. But I love it here, like I said before, and I'd love to stay as long as I can. But like I said, it's a long summer. It's a business at the end of the day, and I thank the organization for all the opportunity, and just I'd love to be a part of it moving forward for sure.